In 1974, Philippe Petit walked a tightrope between the World Trade Center towers, 400 meters above the ground. A single wire, no safety harness, one wrong step, death. But Philippe, he wasn't afraid. On that wire, he laughed, he nailed, knelt down. You see, fear is not the problem. We've explored every continent, we've mapped the human genome, we've even walked on the moon. But the most mysterious territory in existence is right here, the 14 centimeter wide space right between our ears. We have mastered the external world, but what about the internal one? We've barely even begun to scratch its surface. Did you feel that? That tiny moment of fear. Your heart started racing, your body tensed. Why? Neither the bottle nor the water in it were a real threat to you. So what happened? Your brain, it didn't wait to check. It reacted almost instantly, and that's how powerful your mind is. Imagine there are two boxes. One is labeled as real fear, and the other one, imagined fear. Neuroscience tells us that the brain's amygdala, it does not just react to real fear. It flares up even to imagined ones. And imagined fear, that's just fear wearing a mask. You are being held hostage under threats that don't even exist. You see, fear is not the problem. The problem is that we keep putting everyday challenges into the wrong box. Real fear is when a street dog starts chasing you and your legs, they activate like you're qualifying for Paris Olympics. And imagine fear. Imagine fear is when someone texts, "We need to talk." And suddenly, you're mentally preparing yourself for an apology speech and last words. You see, one fear chases you, and the other fear, you chase yourself. That's why your heart races before an exam. That's why your hands shake before you raise them in the class. That is why you rehearse every single conversation. Not because you're afraid, but because your brain is working way too hard to protect you. Now, the question is, can we be fearless? Absolutely not. We cannot be fearless, but we can always train our brain to fear less. And the fastest way to do this is by moving things into the right box. Our everyday fears like failures, judgment, reaction, they belong in the imagined fear box. But our brain, it throws them into the real fear box. This misplacement here is the entire problem. Our brain learns fear automatically, but it unlearns fear intentionally. Psychologists call this reappraisal, changing the way you interpret things. And when you do this, something extraordinary happens right here. The amygdala, it quiets down. The prefrontal cortex, which is the logical part, it takes over, and the threat begins to shrink. This is not a motivational talk. This is how your brain rewires itself. And when you do this, you beat every single fear. Imagine this. You're in a situation where you're absolutely scared, like taking a step towards your goals. When you do that, your brain rewires itself. It forms new connection, it updates its understanding of the world, it learns, I can do this. I did not break, and I am capable. Fear does not get weaker, you get stronger. Let me explain this in more depth with the help of a phenomena, the amygdala hijack. The amygdala hijack occurs when the emotional part of your brain, which is the amygdala, takes over so fast that the logical part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, it doesn't even get a chance to speak. Now, this made sense when we used to run away from tigers. But today, it gets triggered by the simplest things like an examination, stage fright, or even a single hateful comment. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your thoughts freeze. Not because the situation is actually life threatening, but because your brain treats it like one. And in that moment, you're not responding to reality. You're responding to a memory, a fear, or a trigger. That split second takeover is the amygdala hijack. How to beat amygdala hijack? The first step is to train your body. When you're under a stressful situation, your body, it tends to act like you're in a wildlife documentary. And trust me, your body loves overreacting. Once, I was about to speak in the class, and my heart started sprinting like it had a separate life insurance policy, and my hands shaking like a Nokia phone on silent. And all this just because the teacher said, "Can you read the next line?" My brain literally went, "We are not safe, abort mission." But you know what I did next? I took one deep breath, unclenched my jaw like I wasn't about to fight someone, and suddenly my body went from "we're dying" to "it's okay, you got this, you can do this." The next step is to train your mind, especially the amygdala. And trust me, your amygdala is like that one dramatic friend who thinks every little thing is a full-blown tragedy. Mine panics at the dumbest things. Once I had to call someone I did not know. I was literally staring at my phone like it was some sort of ticking time bomb. My brain went like, what if they don't pick up? What if I sound weird? What then? But every time I forced myself to do these tiny scary things, my amygdala learned, oh, nothing actually went wrong. And maybe I should stop screaming. And that's how you beat hijacks. You train your brain to do tiny scary things until it realizes that it does not need to jump out of your skull. The question now isn't, do I feel fear? The question is, where does this fear belong? In the real fear box or the imagined fear box? Because when you put fear in the right box, you put yourself there too. We've crossed many boundaries. We've crossed the land, the sea, the sky. But the next great frontier is within. The last border that we must cross is within ourselves. Thank you.